So we spent, I think, a lot of time thinking about this and producing resources for this. Maybe you've already, if you have some ideas, I would love to hear. I'll be brief in my presentation, and I would love to hear discussion and your ideas and successes and lessons learned about things that you've done for just adapting to online, whether it's programming or ceremonies, communicating with the chapter, but what are some specific ways that you've adapted the chapter for existing in a remote world and online. So let me just first talk about the ceremony. So as you've probably seen from emails, we have put quite a bit of effort and resources into adapting ceremonies to online. So there's a couple different options. So in particular, let's talk about ceremonies. So we've outlined a couple of options that you can do your own. Certainly, many of you already have done your own, and that's great. This is a PowerPoint presentation with all of the rituals already there, scripted in it, and you can customize it. But what's been very popular is our national ceremonies. And so if you'd like to participate, again, I won't spend a lot of time on this because a lot of you already have signed up, you've already participated. But if you haven't had a ceremony yet and want to participate in one of these onlines, these filled up rather quickly. The September 25th had over 1,200 students inducted. This one has almost 2,000 students will be inducted on the October 18th, with about 22 chapters are participating. And the other two are getting more and more chapters signed up. So if you're curious about that ceremony, you can go to our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page. This is the September 25th video of the ceremony. If you're curious how it went, it lasted less than a half an hour. You'll see that I show a slide with everybody's names on it. So they do get to see their name. We don't read all the names, but they do get to see it. We do have a National Council welcome video that we play. It's about 4.5 minutes. There's Anthony, there was Sharon, Carlia. So that's a nice option to use at your own ceremony if you want. But again, there's lots of resources there for online ceremonies. I'm going to stop screen sharing and just see if there's any questions. The other thing, one last thing, is that I do offer, and Daryl, you can speak to this, if the dates don't work of a national ceremony, but you really don't want to hassle with an online ceremony and you want me to do it, I'm happy to facilitate it for you.
Yes, Eileen offered to do that for us at North Carolina A&T. We did it a couple Sundays ago and it went great. We have a very big chapter. We inducted, I think, 219, 220 students, and it went very, very well. We've gotten excellent feedback from our students, parents. I've gotten emails from colleagues that joined on the Zoom meeting, and it was great. So thank you again, Eileen, and your staff for doing that, but it went very, very well.
Good, good. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad that work. I'm doing it for Spelman in a couple weeks, and if anyone else wants that. So let me just say, and then we'll get back to sort of programming ideas, is that they have been successful. They've been, I think, appreciated because you all have a lot on your plate, and maybe probably more on your plate than you had a year ago. So we're going to continue these in the spring. I'm sort of anticipating there's still going to be a lot of remote education and learning in the spring. Some schools have already decided they're going to have the whole year of that. Others are hoping, I think, to come back in person in the spring. No matter what, we will offer another whole slew of national ceremonies in the spring, whether you're in person or not. And if you have suggestions for them, what more we could do in them, if you've seen them at all, please give me that feedback. Okay. I'm going to continue chatting about programming and existing as a chapter online. I put together a year ago or so just a general PowerPoint about programming in general. So I tried to sort of take that shell of a presentation and talk about how you can still be an active chapter on campus, even if you're online. So if you've seen this presentation, it'll look familiar. So certainly, and I'm going to start in the summer, even though we're in October, but let's just start just to give an academic year's worth of a picture of how a chapter can be active virtually. So let's just start with summer. Some of you are directors of orientation, and a lot of you had to pivot to online orientation. So I'd love to hear how you did that and how that looked and how that worked. But if your institution is doing an online orientation even next summer, what are ways that ALD can be a part of that? I would, speak to your orientation folks on campus, find a way to engage with the program. If they are doing something online, can you give a little 2-minute presentation at some point in the Zoom orientation to talk about ALD? Certainly our promotional pieces that we offer, our study guide is perfect for orientation. So, and again, this isn't really programming, but it sort of is, at least is getting students involved and getting the name of ALD out. So our study guide is a perfect component. And Trish, if you want to put a link to our study guide, that'd be swell. I had it here, but now I have too many tabs open. So Trish will do that in chat. So again, if there's a chance for you to stay involved in orientation, that would be great, even if it's online. Our students returning to the residence halls and on campus, if they are, ALD can be a part of that and help students move in, wear ALD letters, that whole thing. So not really remote or virtual because they're moving on, but it's something to know about. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So this slide had to do with the student club fairs. So pretty much practically every university and college in the country has some sort of student activities fair, get involved fair, something in the fall. Maybe yours already did. I was fascinated to see how many schools pivoted to online club fairs. So there were quite a few that were able to use online, whether it was Zoom or something else. Some schools did a fabulous job. And so I hope ALD was represented there. I'm not sure how they ran those. I think they did breakout rooms where students could move from one room to another, and each room was labeled for a different student organization. So keep an eye on those. I think your student activities departments are on top of that. And they are doing some very interesting things to engage students online. And Alpha Lambda Delta is a recognized student organization, just like anybody else, like every other club on campus. So keep an eye out for those opportunities to engage the students, members, and to promote ALD. And again, if you have thoughts and ideas about that, we'll go to a discussion in a minute. Tabling, this is not online, but I don't know, maybe there's a way to table online. This is just a slide I had from the campus programming. So let's talk about another very common ALD program that I think can make the shift. And I think my premise here is to think that anything the ALD chapter has done on campus to try and get creative to find ways that they could do it virtually if possible. And so a very popular activity that ALD chapters engage in is promoting academic success, particularly during finals time or midterms, where they'll try and be motivating, and they do stress relief or study skills workshops, late night pancake breakfast kind of thing. Again, motivating things that they can do to help students study hard and encourage good study habits. And so maybe there's something electronically like a little email, words of encouragement through email, or trying to think of that. That was the only one I had was email, but certainly using social media as well is to create some sort of a graphic, which we can help with, and by we I mean Trish. Trish can help with a graphic to customize it just for your chapter, and you put it out there during midterms and finals to help encourage academic achievement. The other thing is encouraging good study habits. This might be something that a chapter could do, is some sort of Instagram contest. And so everybody in in the chapter, go find students studying and post a picture of students studying on Instagram and have some sort of contest around that, either themselves studying or catching students studying. Guest speakers. You could be using Zoom for all sorts of things for the chapter, certainly for meetings. And by Zoom, I mean any WebEx, anything you're using. But you're probably already using things for meetings if things online. But why not bring in a guest speaker? So have somebody from the Counseling Center or the Career Center, Student Leadership, the Scholarship Office, Academic Resources, have a guest speaker on Zoom or online and promote it to the group and have everyone come and hear a guest speaker. That should be super easy to do if you have an online. Faculty appreciation and sleep, those are two ideas for programming, and I'm gonna, that I talked about in our chapter programming page. Okay. So the other piece that I wanted, and then I'm going to open it up for ideas and discussion and questions, but this page of our website, we added this quite a while ago, very early in COVID. In March, we created what we call the COVID page, and then we changed it to just be online engagement in general. But there's a lot of great resources here that I would suggest if you could take a look at, or certainly encourage your chapter advisors to. This is brand new, just added late last night. It is an amazing list of activities that your chapter could be doing online. Fun things, educational things, team building. Officers could do things just with the officers. The whole membership could be doing things. I've culled a lot of resources, and because there's, quite frankly, when this all first hit in March, and even to this day, there's so much out there. There's so many resources that it was becoming a little bit overwhelming for me anyway. It's like too much. So I really took all these, just so many other things that I had been seeing, and this list, I think, is a pretty good list. So if you don't look at anything else, check out that activities resource list, and it's got some interesting things. Okay, so I have not been looking at chat, so Trish, chime in if there's anything I need to know about, but let me just open it up.
Good.
Okay, great. Can we open it up to, let me just hear some things that you've done, anything interesting, any questions about how to engage the chapter and keep them engaged online, any thoughts or program ideas that you've put together that you could share? Anybody willing to share anything?
But what we actually did is, I'll say as a council, we definitely engaged having guest speakers at every meeting that we have. We just thought we're going to be presenting on it tomorrow to the students also, but I thought it was like a great idea, and I'm glad you mentioned it. We've reached anywhere from career to sustainability to what we can do for community service, even being at home. There's a lot of online options along with options in person, like, socially distanced campus cleanups or beach cleanups and stuff like that. So I thought it was great that you mentioned that, so I just thought we should bring that up.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad that worked for you. Yeah.
One thing that we're looking at trying to do is some watch parties, obviously within one of our bigger areas, spaced out and whatnot, with the career connections. So we're looking at actually opening that up to the community and collaborating with some of other groups, depending on what topic is being discussed. So for instance, with the with the nursing program, looking at collaborating with our Student Nursing Association and doing a watch party for the community.
That's great. Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah. And Carrie mentioned that they did individual service, and people sent in pictures, ideally wearing their shirts. That's a great idea. If you can't do, because of social distancing, you can't do an activity in person together, have folks do things on their own, and photographs are in. fixers are popular. Okay, what else? We got 4 minutes left, and I do want to take a 5-minute break at the 11:55 mark, just so I can, we're going to put you all in a waiting room in a few minutes and get ready for the 12 o'clock session, but we have a few minutes left.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm Franklin from Salem States. And we've done a Kahoot night specifically with our membership where we did some trivia and we've kind of awarded, we have like this thing called Clipper Cash that students are able to use for different things, either on campus or to buy books or stuff like that. So, and that's just an online form. So we were able to award that way. And then we've also looked at just some virtual events, kind of similar to what events have been happening on campus. So some offices have to do like have maybe gotten like cookie supplies and have actually sent them specifically to the people that have signed up, and then have a Zoom cookie making type of program or type of context. We've done like barbecue. We've also done like flower arranging too. So we've talked about doing some of that, as well as like also doing some like online bingo as well. And then we also were looking at kind of similar to, I think, what the career conversations are. We've done like a resume night specifically with membership, but looking at trying to maybe get to specific type of careers or genres, just to get at some of our upperclassmen students, our members. So yeah.
Great. Yep. Those kits have been, I've seen a lot of talk of little kits, little baggies full of whatever it is that they're going to make. And then they get them and they make them and show it on Zoom or post pictures. Anything else? Retha, were you going to say something?
Yes, so we're going to try and transition our Sleep Jeopardy program, which is what we usually do at our NSU Wellness Fest that we started last year. And so we're just going to kind of do it like a mask of a different kind. And so we're actually going to host it in the ballroom, socially distanced, but we're also going to offer it online. And then we have the little ALD Sleep is Good mask that we're going to send with the little sleep mask, so that we'll be mailing those to students who are not, able to attend the program. So,
right. That's very cool. Love it. Okay. Great. I'm looking at, yeah, de-stressor events are good, especially in this time. Okay. Good. Again, lots of stuff online on our online page, and you're I'll go back to your student activities departments. Some of you are probably part of them or directors of them, or you certainly have got colleagues that work in that area. They are just so skilled in knowing how to make this transition. They're probably part of a lot of online communities where there's a lot of discussion and resource sharing. I know there's a number of Facebook groups that are discussing this, and there's a lot of resources out there. So, okay. We're going to take a little bit of break